Hello and welcome back for Game 4, where Golden Guardians will look to take down Cloud9. Let's jump right into the starting rosters. Selecting blue side, it is Golden Guardians. In the top lane, Hornsa. In the jungle, Contracts. Mid laner, Froggen. Bot and support, Jeffrey and Ole. And their coaches, Jimmy and Potluck.
And facing them on the red side, it is Cloud9. In the top lane, Licorice. Jungle, Svenskeren. Mid, Niski. Bottom, Sneaky. Support, Zazo. And Coach Reapered on stage.
And of the Titans coming into the summer split, Cloud9 seems to be the only one delivering on the type of dominance we hope from a top team.
Yeah, one of our only 2 undefeated teams here. And I have to say, specifically, Svenskeren has been insane. Give jungle credit where jungle credit is due. He has been destroying it for this team on kill-oriented champions as well as frontline and tank engage-oriented champions. I think it's really been a difference between old TSM Svenskeren that got flamed a lot, and the new Cloud9 Svenskeren has been on display in the coordination, with the teams and pulling off a lot of those plays. Seems like now when he's going for a lot of these invades and a lot more of the risky moves, it is with the intent of the entire team going for some sort of objective.
And when we talk about the proactivity of Svenskeren, it is hard not to point out that a foot on the gas pedal was what was missing for Golden Guardians in their game versus Clutch yesterday.
Yeah, the Golden Guardians yesterday seemed uncharacteristically slow to react. Yes, they did have a lot more scaling champions, but even some of the plays in the game looked like there was some hesitation, maybe not as clear communication or clear game plan heading into the game. So definitely looking to clean that up, as they have been one of the strong contenders here in Summer Split especially, and they've been looking to rise up to really battle the top 3 teams from Spring. Cloud9 would be a huge opponent to try and overcome here, being at the very top.
Certainly this could have been a game where we're looking at, which team is going to stay undefeated, but Golden Guardians will not be deterred here, certainly capable of taking down Cloud9 despite their recent form looking good. And no more Yuumi, it seems like after that last game, going to be banned alongside the Sona on the Golden Guardian side as Cloud9 take out Aurelia.
Yeah, there are a couple things right now in the meta that you have to have some sort of specific strategy if you're going to let it through. And when it gets through the ban phase, you're like, oh my goodness, what is the crazy counter that's going to come out here? One of those things is Sonateric. The other thing is literally just Yuumi as a champion. So both of those are off the table. And it looks like we will have a more kind of standard-ish looking game this one time around.
Well, Ryze and Aurelia, so 2 flexes out for Cloud9. We've got Aatrox, we've got Silas, champions that spring to mind. Akali, another one that has almost dropped down in priority, given the power of the other champions. As a blue side Silas fan, though, for GGS.
Yeah, either that or Aatrox again. Okay, so Aatrox is going to be the one out, so the Akali still left up. Oh, early Olaf, immediate lock-in here for the Golden Guardians. Now that signals early game, that signals proactivity, that signals Contracts wants to get in there and get some kills.
See if he can do that, because that is a big amount of priority on that jungler, but certainly has been starting to see bans throughout the weekend, even in our last game. Cloud9, though, we'll see how they respond with their first 2 picks. First one's going to be Nico, the other flex I forgot to mention. And perhaps a jungler here for Svenskeren. Maybe wants to go toe-to-toe on something like the Elise, but still 20 seconds for them to make their selections.
Yeah, hovering over some other early options that can draft into the Olaf there. Olaf, again, with the Warrior Enchantment Black Cleaver build coming out of the LPL that really gained a lot of popularity. That's kind of what I'm looking for again. High damage, high risk as well with that. We'll see about what the other lock-ins here are for Cloud9, though, as once again, they have a super high priority on the Nico. They first picked it as well previously. Going to do the same this time around. Grab that for Licorice. And one of the most popular bottom laners there, the Xayah, will be facing off against Varus. Very strong laner.
Ooh. So Lux picked here. We've seen it flex to mid already today, but more support plays in the LCS for that champion.
Immediate Lux answer here from Cloud9, because I think everybody expecting Tahm Kench for the Golden Guardians. That's what they got both their wins on. It did look like in the game yesterday when Golden Guardians did not have the Tahm Kench, the Abyssal Voyage threat, it was already reduced, with the recent changes to Tahm Kench. And in the support role, you really do feel that decreased range on the level 1 ultimate. But level 2 ultimate, when it gets the range buffed up once again, it really does have that similar threat for playing side lanes and split pushing and trying to create your own 3v2 scenarios. Just that you do have to wait for it now for a few more levels. Again, though, melee champion there, and the Lux locked in. Possible flex pick here. Could be Niski's in the mid lane, could be support.
Also seeing a lot of just general consistency pick-wise for Golden Guardians. Definitely has only played Ezreal and Varus. That is true both in his Academy games and in LCS, by the way. We're going to keep that stat the same here as he does select. Varus bans are done, though, for Phase 2. Jarvan, Hecarim, Rumble, and Jace all off the table.
Yeah, I think consistency for the Golden Guardians bottom lane is specifically important. The bottom lane for that team is probably the area that I am most worried about going into Golden Guardians games. So them getting Varus, such a strong laner, and the Tom Kench, definitely a huge comfort for Ole, is very big. There's the early game we're looking for. Rek'Sai locked in to try and answer the Olaf.
And of course, Cloud9 with all the potential flexibility of their champions. Gonna leave some counter pick for last pick here on red. Always an Anivia hover. It's a good time there on the Golden Guardian side, but Cannon been a very popular top laner. Fiora been not as popular, and there's Cannon.
All right, definitely high percentage chance it is the top lane Cannon for Hanser into the Nico for Licorice, but still could be moved around a little bit here. And it looks like it is setting up possibilities for Golden Guardians trying to run strong early game on the back of Olaf into a possible split push and collapse type of strategy. Sometimes you go for hard split push where you have something like a Jax or a Nasus or whatever that's taking down turrets. Sometimes you just want to push very quickly, then have your side laners collapse for the AoE team fights. And Kennen is that kind of side laner if you do go with the kind of Hextech Gunblade upgrade build, which is a little half and half and brings some of the team fighting. But with Anivia locked in, once again, that's that secure sieging for Golden Guardians that we saw on display from them.
And kind of the same there on the other side. Azir, again, I believe, for Niski here. So pretty similar look here for Cloud9 for comps they've already played this weekend. Sadly, no Lux mid, but I think we'll be okay with that one as Zeyzal will pilot the champion instead. Have to agree that in general, yes, bottom lane has maybe been a potential worry point for Golden Guardians, but top half has been performing very well. I think more than anything, they just draft for stability because they don't really go down bottom lane all that often in the first 15 minutes. And it has been Contracts playing well with his solo laners. That's kind of a lot of this renewed early success for Golden Guardians.
And Olaf definitely is a beast, especially in the early game. Rek'Sai looking more to make use of the tunnels to try and find gank pass and more creative ones to get around unseen. Maybe make use of your passive as well for the extra information. We'll have
as opposed to Olaf, who just runs into a lane and
Olaf doesn't really care
as
much about the information. Yeah, the tactical aspects. More of a charge in and smash whatever's in front of you type of game plan.
A lot of good targets. It's pretty squishy comp on the side of Cloud9.
Dreamy view of Hanser we've got here. Can't even keep my eyes focused.
All right, well, teams are going to square off. Cloud9 looking to remain undefeated after 2 weeks of play. Golden Guardians looking to take down a team in the top 3. And a pretty good one to pick off as well. Cloud9 have certainly been in the best form early on this summer. Big statement win for Golden Guardians if they can pick up the dub here.
All right. Standard now. Sweeper starts for both junglers as they'll be looking for those early wards. Saw in the last game, trying to group around for experience for your solo laners as well to give them that edge. And it looks like with this grouping here for the Golden Guardians, they may go for an invade. They have to be very careful about Lux, but Olaf is very powerful early on. If you land one axe, you can land them all.
Niski also dodging the Anivia stun. Froggen had that early on for the level 1, but not a big detriment in lane. Zeyzal continuing to spy these brushes with Lucent Singularity, but Golden Guardians not deterred. They are really moving into the jungle here, trying to get down some vision. Actually roaming back around the wolf camp. This is very tricky.
Oh,
Sweeper down. Now they're going to go in for it. Poking on Dispense Garen. Damage is down. Arcane come up procs, but C9 did get the ward kill.
I like it. You know, they're trying to defend their vision super early into the game. They're using the ward as bait. Go for a little bit of harassment there. Find some damage and retain control of the blue buff side of C9's jungle. So they're going to try and split the map here. Now, let's see if they can actually pull off the complete split. Zeyzal's poking around with Lux, so they know that Golden Guardians are going to start on this blue side of the map. That should signal to Svenskeren, as well as Niski and Licorice, which are the more important parts of this. You know, your solo laners pushing up to see if they will be able to get that split jungle corridor.
And it's interesting to split this map, because usually you look at mid lane, it's like, okay, which mid laner can get the push and maybe help out the jungle, but there's a lot of farming between Anivia and Desir.
Yeah, and I really do like how immediately it's a whole game plan here. You just saw Froggen move on the first wave over to push that ward in the river, that ward to try and see when Rek'Sai tries to go answer, because usually you'll split the map and you'll just trade jungle quadrants, where blue side is going to use this jungle quadrant, and then Contracts is already down in this jungle quadrant, as you can see, and they kind of trade those ones that are usually for their opponents. Right now, Svenskeren's pathing to the top side, so he might actually even be able to route around that Anivia ward.
Contracts again roaming out, but Niski going to spot him on a ward this time, but full clear on the blue side there. For Contracts, actually sweeps down, sees the ward, and gets a little bit of extra vision score for himself. And Svenskeren, a little slower, has now finished to the red side, and he's going to roam down towards the top side / blue quadrant of the jungle for Golden Guardians.
And I know that we're drawing a lot on this map, but it's
More noodles, Kobe.
It's so important. Mid lane and top lane, as we said, pushing up to help out with Svenskeren to go for this invade and steal that blue buff. It's a full team play here for C9 to make sure that Svenskeren does not get 3 buff, because Olaf is so strong, and already Contracts now healed back up, and he goes to try and chase Rek'Sai out of that side of the jungle. Now you can see there is nothing left for Svenskeren to farm. It's just the Scuttle Crabs. The entire jungle is gone because of this start from the Golden Guardians. Pretty well played early invade plan.
Crab, though, goes over to Svenskeren. Of course, there's still one on the bottom side as Sven pops the Scry's Bloom, and we'll get the information. So his contract set with the Tremor Sense as well, but again, nothing for Svenskeren to do. There's no jungle right now on his side of the map, so going to go for the Grump instead.
Yeah, these are the big brain jungle moments where all the action in the game is about trying to maneuver the junglers around the early camps. And it's just about the laners getting those deep wards, pushing up their lanes to try and help out junglers. There we go, flash root!
Good. Svenskeren, they're going to look to line it up. Haunter, nowhere to really flash. They're going to get knocked up and taken down. It's first blood and well-deserved for Svenskeren.
Exactly, he knew if he flashes, Svenskeren immediate flashes too, and he's dead anyways. Big move here from C9. With all of the early maneuvering from Golden Guardians, you put in so much work, and you're like, all right, we're starting that blue. We're coming back over. We're going to defend our blue side. We're going to, get all of these jungle camp advantages. Even if there's nothing for Svenskeren to farm, he'll turn his eyes towards champions. And these are those scenarios where, as Golden Guardians, you feel bad with all that work that you did, only to have a first blood go over to the enemy jungler that has no other options but to go for a gank on that side of the map where they know that he is. I've definitely felt those feelings before. You put in so much work as a jungler, and you feel like your opponent just has so few options, but the one option they have open does work out. That is a huge bonus for C9 and for Svenskeren, because that timing allows all the camps to respawn. So now he's got everything back. It's all up to level 2 camps now, and he can farm back away.
Coder to Licorice as well. Beautifully set up there with the E-Flash, I believe. But Svenskeren didn't notice Halo Blades, but certainly going to help out in any sort of aggression versus the Olaf. But back to clearing now for the Rek'Sai. He, as you mentioned, does get the rest of his blue side jungle finally. As Ole roaming around, but not much to see.
We're going to stop on a ward there. Contract's going to get a little bit of extra vision out here down on the river as well. Try and protect around this dragon and around that bottom lane. I like those deep wards, actually. Are going to see a lot of the early roams from C9. Anytime you get around this 5-minute mark where the supports are getting their first recalls off, that's where we get so much of the movement that can really bring confrontation. You see Contract sits around. Control ward from Zeyzal is placed really early in the river, and everybody kind of playing around it.
Sneaky TPing back to lane. It's actually triple TP on both sides here. Spellbook for Froggen as well. Means he'll be able to unlock other options as the game kicks on. Nice. Ooh, he just missed actually. Zeyzal with the right idea, but does not see Contracts.
Hold strong there. Puts down the control ward as well, just to make sure. And then you can start up Dragon. Olaf, one of those jungle champions, very easily can do early dragons. Mountain Dragon also the slowest attacking, so the least DPS Dragon. Froggen trying to run interference here. The ward still survived outside of Dragon, so they know it started, but they can't do anything about it.
Since Garen actually maybe going to just try for a 50-50. Early Mountain always nice to get. They're going to go in for it. It's all after grab. The conflict punches out. Nisqy cannot find the Emperor's Divide, and now Sneaky running away from Ole, but about to get devoured, getting slapped down there. Ole still going, must have used the W already as the egg is out for Anivia, but Ole does get Sneaky. Nisqy still fighting and trying to take down Anivia, but Contracts will protect his mid laner. And now Nisqy moving back in, looks for Ole. Finally procs the E, and now going to turn it back around. Devour back up. Ole spits him out and definitely shoots him down.
Oh my goodness, we need the mega zoom out for this one to keep track of both areas on that fight. Golden Guardians get the re-engage. Nisqy on Azir goes in. Big mistake right next to Ole, who gets off the third stack on the passive. Devours Azir, spits him back out for the extra kill. And I believe they got the Dragon secure as well with a really nice coordinated timing. Definitely says, hey, I'm shooting my arrow right over the wall. This is out of vision. Time your smite appropriately so it allows Contracts to win the smite fight. Flash over the back of the wall. And that was just extreme coordination. Look at this. Definitely heads over, fires off the arrow. GGS have perfect vision of it, so Contracts really, really nice timing there. Knows the arrow's coming in. Then definitely turns right back around because Ole goes in on his Sneaky. Tahm Kench able to find so much pressure here. Flashes in, gets the stun kill. Ole's Tahm Kench, you can tell why they really prioritize it for him. Super comfortable pick. Then Nisqy chased over Froggen. He egged him and went for the kill onto Ole, who still has thick skin. Stacks up the passive again, devours him into another kill for Golden Guardians. Absolutely insane early game from the last 2.5 minutes, I guess.
And that was only a 4v4, as both top laners didn't have TP and were busy pushing up against each other. So first Mountain goes to Golden Guardians, first engagement goes their way as well. Gold still even, but the bonus Drake always nice and not reflected there as Froggen gonna grab himself blue number 1.
Whew, yeah. Froggen, remember, after a bottom lane play like that where so much happens, and you can see there were 2 fights going on the same screen, basically, you have to keep track of all the summoners and all the passives that are blown. Froggen got egged, also doesn't have flash. Meanwhile, bottom side, though, they're going very heavy.
Good angle there from Deathlead, not getting rooted by the feathers. But Sneaky standing his ground, able to get a nice trade for himself. Svenskeren also roaming down with the sweeper is going to spot Ole and the control ward in the tri-bush.
Remember, this is first blood Rek'Sai still. Svenskeren got that early money. He used that to fund an early warrior completion here. Rek'Sai level 6 with warrior Hail of Blades is so much burst damage. He has to be respected. And C9 definitely have a point of power in their jungler once again.
We can see Contracts back down to the bottom half of the map. A lot of attention being put here in these early stages as Froggen pushes the wave in and goes for a roam. Still plates to be collected, not even 10 minutes through this game. As Golden Guardians instead going to roam through together and try and get vision and continue to track Svenskeren. See the blue buff going on. Ole does get confirmation that Nisqy is there taking the blue. And mid lane will continue to be kind of a farm fest here.
Yep, Anivia with blue buff. Very effortless wave clear here for Froggen. Put out your ultimate. 2 spells is going to be a cannon wave, no problem. Meanwhile, Azir should be able to clean up fairly quickly there for Nisqy as well. And it allows Froggen on this Anivia to roam down once again with Contracts. They're really focused on the bottom half of the map and all of the wards through the river right now. You can see there's so many of them littered there for the Golden Guardians trying to keep control of this dragon area.
Froggen eating some damage there. It's Comet for Nisqy there in mid lane, so wants a bit more early presence in the lane. Going for the more scaling lethal tempo. Also, top lane for Licorice is once again Glacial Augment. We've seen press the attack already today, actually, but not the option here for Cloud9, who are favoring more of that teamfight power from the Nico.
Both teams looking for some AP burst, probably. I expect the Gunblade upgrade from Hanser rather than the full Blade of the Ruined King. Especially since, if you look at the team composition here, Golden Guardians, whoa, never mind, fight.
Here we go with the ulti! Boom! Oh, nice stopwatch. I spoke too soon, but not enough there for Contract Superstars Titus Sven.
And Sven still gets the kill, even though solo laners came over, and sometimes, you know, most of the time, you'll see jungler, especially like Rek'Sai, be like, okay, I'll give some money over to the Azir, big scaling, you know, late game DPS mage. Nah, not this one. Gonna take that for himself. He likes the burst damage that he got early off that first blood. We saw it in action here with the full completed warrior. And Svenskaren's gonna get killed number 2, plus Rift Herald.
Pretty good day to be a jungler in the LCS. Kobe has popped Blossom, popped onto Haunter, who counters with a slicing Maelstrom, so ult's traded there in the top lane, but Licorice still looking good in the 1v1.
Yeah, looking really good. Take a look at the number on the turret. Meanwhile, bottom!
Yeah, Zeyzal already low, gonna pop out the Prismatic Barrier, nice splash out of the wall, and Niski's here, looking to play Scoopsies there with Ole! There's the egg for Frog, and as this Zeyzal's ulti picked him off, and now with the Featherstorm, they're gonna try and get the egg, but there's Ole! Devours up and pops back into the soup shield once again, and now Sneaky running out of the way. The E is almost enough with that chill to take down Sneaky.
Woo! Definitely cutting it close on that one, and once again, the Tom Kench, highly prized by the Golden Guardians and not many others, really paying off for them. Ole is able to get the Devour. They save the member. Mountain Dragon number 2 is under attack. Niski's still here with full life, though, and he will not be trifled with.
Again, Comet proc there for Deathly. Gets a Q and pokes him down nicely, but C9 want to fight for this. Froggen going to roam back over, and I think now Cloud9 realize that don't really have enough of an advantage to try and make a play, but perhaps once again I've spoken too soon.
Zeyzal's headed down with the Lux. They even up the numbers. C9 looking like they want to go.
Oh, Niski with the flank TP in from Licorice as well. Haunter not pulling the trigger just yet. The Drake goes over to Golden Guardians, but Ole will be forfeit as a result. Rek'Sai ulti, good flash there from Deathly as Licorice able to find the pop Blossom after the root there onto Frog, and no egg and no chance there as Licorice TP's down for the kill.
Oh, looks like they're still chasing too.
Oh, nice snipe from Zeyzal.
That's what he was doing. Svenskaren kept on the chase, was trying to keep some vision there for themselves. Zeyzal right down the middle there next to the tower does make it easier to hit those skill shots when they're next to terrain because they don't have any other options, and that also opens up the Rift Herald. You get to proc it on mid lane. That is going to be so much turret money to the Azir, plus the mid turret itself gonna go down, and Cloud9 just explode at the dragon fight.
Red buff steal, Licorice's TP made the Golden Guardians pay as Niski will finish off the first turret and its remaining plates with a bit of help there from Shelly.
All right, meanwhile, topside Licorice has gotten back up there to deal with Haunter. Haunter got 1 plate for himself during all of that, so definitely not worth. Let's take a look at this and how it all happened. Remember, Golden Guardians forcing on this dragon, they did initially get it, but you could see with the focus from C9 all were just looking for damage on champions. Nobody even looked at the dragon. They didn't really care about the early Mountain Drake for themselves. They wanted to make the big play on the dragon, and that Scryer's Bloom, that's what it was. Svenskaren getting out of the ground, popping that one, keeping vision for Zeyzal. So heads up on that play. They still see him, and then Rek'Sai passive ping as well. Nicely lined up.
Good accuracy there from Zeyzal. Oh, it's nice to see Luxport pick up a kill or two, and actually use 2 of them. 2-0-2 there for Zeyzal, looking good early on.
That was actually such a sick pro view to be able to see all the little bits of information that added up to that snipe. All right, take a look on top side, though.
Svenskaren going back in, slashing Maelstrom already procs. Svenskaren ready with the assault once again. Hops on and gonna take him down. Don't worry about the 2-level disadvantage. Svenskaren on a rampage.
Svenskaren, we said it at the beginning of the game. He has been an absolute monster carry for Cloud9 here. Summer has been all him, and he's continuing to destroy.
The thing I love about Sven is that he's capable of playing Sejuani. He's capable of getting in there and sacrificing for the team to get in position to win the team fight. But he's also a really good carry player when he wants to be, and this is a carry game from Svenskaren.
All right, tower gonna go down off the back of that kill as well. Licorice pushing through with the Nico fully opened up top side of the map now with all those towers going down. Golden Guardians trying to answer here on the bottom side, but they're not going to have the same sort of pushing power without getting some sort of kill to knock through the tower. So they're going to have to put a stop to it there and just kind of farm out a couple of the camps instead. He gets Wolves and the Gromp in payment.
Well, Cloud9 off to a nice lead, but double mountain there for GGS, and still plenty of structures to try and knock down to collect a bit of that standing gold. Means that game is, despite well ahead for Cloud9, certainly not out of reach by any means for the Golden Guardians, but definitely looking for Haunter to make more of an impact in the next team fight. Does have the Gunblade now finished. Yes, Licorice is working on the Twin Shadows, but a good cannon ulti turns around any team fighter's Froggen. Nice catch there onto Sneaky. Might continue, walls him off. And that's going to be an easy Featherstorm used there by Sneaky, but Froggen has just cornered his opponent. No flash and no hope left for Sneaky. Going to try and fight it out, but Froggen gets a solo kill.
Froggen is so good. Not to mention just Anivia. No, Froggen is just so good. But on Anivia as well, knows full cooldowns, full ranges of everything. Obviously, he's been playing the champion for 8 years. But that was actually just so nice. Over the wall, out of the fog of war, finds the solo kill very easily on Sneaky. You know, walks up through, expecting the ultimate to come down. And that is going to be a huge window for Golden Guardians because, once again, we re-illustrate, when he picks Anivia, they look for Siege. Anivia is so good at towers. That's why it definitely has gone lethal. Lethality here with the Varus build. Full lethality is pretty much online right now with the Ghost Blade and the extra serrated Dirk. So you just siege up, you fire arrows like that. If they do hit, it forces recalls. Niski already on the Azir, going back to base, and the Golden Guardians, they're significantly down in gold, but they're making plays for themselves. Froggen on the Anivia, definitely landing skill shots in mid lane.
I love the coordination between, you know, Froggen trying to line up the walls and the slows and definitely trying to line up the arrows. We even saw it, as you mentioned, in the Drake pit for Golden Guardians to pick up their first mountain. So poke always been a good answer to Azir. But Cloud9 have looked good in the 4v4/5v5 fights. Golden Guardians keep playing their poke game. Zeyzal, good by half your health bar.
Yeah, I mean, you can go, oh my goodness, that's so much poke damage, but Zeyzal's playing Lux, and that goes both ways. You just gotta dodge the skill shot to get hit!
Done! Oh, that's the Arcane Comet! Good enough for a shutdown as Svenskeren going in, perhaps a little too deep. It's a lot too deep, as Olaf able to grab the shutdown. Haunter does TP down, but Infernal Drake, not a bad one to be present for.
Yeah, that's not how that works. If your teammate gets killed, that's not the call to go all in. And they kill Zeyzal immediate answer there.
Licorice does get 2 flashes, I believe. No, just 1.
Yeah, got Deathleys.
Oh, it was 2.
Deathleys and Contracts. Because the ultimate was down for Contracts from that fight, so he had to use his summoner spell to get out of it. Definitely high value for Licorice there off the back of the dragon. But this is Golden Guardians fighting their way back into a game where C9 had such a big lead. And it comes off the back of skill shots. Definitely landed it early on. Then Svenskeren tries to go all in on Froggen. Gets hit by the ultimate from the Varus this time around. Roots him up so he cannot get his own ultimate off. Cannot answer. And that is Golden Guardians with kills on top of an objective. 3 dragons now for themselves.
Only 1,000 gold ahead from Cloud9. I think you can pretty much write off the gold lead as it currently stands. So we'll look to continue to see how the teams execute around the map. Cloud9 still with a nice map lead because of the turrets they've taken, but with the siege power of the Varus and the Anivia, I don't expect that advantage to hold for very long.
Definitely a strong resurgence here from the Golden Guardians. Ooh, man, lethality builds full operation here. The Duskblade was completed. There you go. Now it's full operation. As soon as that one gets done, Zeyzal cannot get hit by more than one of those. Niski does get the last auto there on the blue buff in the battle of the mid laners.
Froggen will take the compensation grub, does get it away from Svenskeren. Interesting to see them in side lanes now, I guess, wanting the marksman in the mid lane to shoot the turret there on the Golden Guardian side. Haunter spots a control ward, will shoot that one down. And the Cloud9 have to respect the power of this Varus. So safe with the Tahm Kench by his side. Gonna start poking down the turret here.
Yeah, they kind of need Anivia with them to really have the full safety, though. So I'm very optimistic about this attempt from Cloud9, but definitely dodges. Really nice sidestep there on Zeyzal. That was very important. If that hits, that's a dead... or actually, Tahm Kench was right next to him. Never mind. Oleg could probably just devour him.
Certainly better to dodge. Potentially die as Sneaky. Hitting a nice Q there from Deathly. Cloud9 trying to set something up here. You can see Svenskeren in air quotes. Licorice disguises the jungler. Could be a flank opportunity here for Nico.
Those work so well with casting because you're going to have to verbalize it every single time.
I think I started playing Nico to mainly not get confused. But that turns out she's a great, really fun champion.
Dodging simulator, initiate. Everybody looking to dodge these skill shots. Couple of them landing here, but the one that sticks does more damage from Froggen.
Double stun, again, with the Q from Deathly, well coordinated there to almost 100-0 Svenskeren. The real one.
No air quotes this time around. Definitely, you can see the damage that comes through from his skill shots, but Froggen finds these little brush attempts, continually weaving his way out of Fog of War. We started on the bottom half of the map where he killed Sneaky solo by himself over the wall. This went around waiting in the pixel brush to get a double stun into a huge health chunk. C9 pushing mid though while Froggen is topside. They know without the Anivia, that's their opening.
Yeah, and they do get the turret. Twin Shadows pop there for some bit of coverage there by Licorice. But still trades being made. Svenskeren back nice and healthy after going through his jungle. They get some HP back, and Niski gonna take a recall. Looks like item number 2 may be ready here. In fact, both mid laners charging up pretty quickly. Rod of Ages almost fully ticked up for Frog, and Seraph is transformed there for him as well. And has that bonus needlessly large rod also available. So whenever the next team fight does break out, it's gonna be fairly dramatic.
I've seen a lot of damage in this game, Pastry, and not a lot of life. So that
much
means
shorter team fights than last game.
Yeah, it'll be much shorter team fights, and they might not even be team fights. They might literally be 2 skill shots just landed off screen, and someone is dead now. Because we have so many champions building full damage here. Not to mention all of the laners, but also the junglers. The only tank here is really Ole, the Tom Kench, and we've actually seen him make good use of the thick skin. There goes a couple of skill shots and half of the Azir's health. Once again, really nice positioning by Froggen, finding a spot over the wall on the high ground.
I like the cooldown boots here as well for Deathly. This is like a very classic mid lane Azir build. I've seen far too much Varus versus Azir in my lifetime. That was oh boy, the LPL loved that for about a full year. But I mean, it's effective again. As you said, no real tanks. Every bit of poke is so precious, and Golden Guardians still behind, but it's not going to last that much longer. I mean, they really want the mid lane outer turret, which is why they're sticking so many people here to try and take it down. But it's kind of only a matter of time unless Cloud9 can find a really aggressive flank angle for a full-on engage.
All right, teleport comes in from Steaky. 4 members from C9 grouping around mid. Maybe it's the defense. Oh, deep teleport from Licorice. I believe it's still going through. Oh, he is. He's behind them. Are they going to chase him into Licorice?
It's not Svenskeren. It is Licorice. Twin Shadows pop going to root down Frog, and that's a good catch if they can get it. Pop also in. Finds it. Gets a 3-man root. And there's Ole in the front side. Will be taken down. Chain of Corruption there to try and disengage. A sneaky ults down the Anivia.
I saw the teleport on that ward, but Golden Guardians did not. They don't get the benefit of a full map view, Pastry Time. That was the teleport to turn this game. A game-winning teleport earns C9 Baron. Actually, such a big swinging point. Teleports from Golden Guardians come in. They actually want to fight it. They do have Haunter's ult and flash.
Contract's also here, ready with a smite, has the flash as well. Might just be an attempt to steal Zazel, getting chunked down so hard, but Niski looks for the engage on her Deathly, who flashed out of the way, and his game-winning ultimate as he goes into stasis. Baron is so low, Svenskeren about to run out of health, but he somehow gets the Baron, but Contract's gonna cut down everybody else. As Deathly finds the final shot for the ace.
Oh my goodness. Haunter says, I'll do you one better, Licorice. Teleports in himself and lays it down. That is an ace for the Golden Guardians. And once again, we will have a very large negative Baron power play as they were immediately killed after taking that objective.
Maybe it doesn't count if they don't have Baron. They all died, so they don't have it anymore. As Golden Guardian's going to take the Drake and
there
the 2 turrets there in mid.
Whew. All right, let's take another look at it, because look at that ward. You see on the mini-map is where we saw Svenskeren teleported in on the Raptors, or excuse me, Licorice. He flashes in, gets a big ultimate, so they get 2 kills for themselves with the egg, taking down the passive like, oh, perfect. We got the extra kills, head straight for Baron. But the Golden Guardians don't give up on the play, and Niski, I think, it is a mistake to go for the offensive Azir ultimate. Because the only way Golden Guardians win this 3v5 is the Kennen. And they go offensive with the Azir ultimate, the Azir flash, then they had someone else's flash right there, didn't even see it. Both of those offensively mean that Haunter has a clear path into the entire team. And that is a Golden Guardians 3v5 victory inside Baron Pit, because C9 looked for the offensive play rather than trying to save that Azir flash and ultimate to try and kick Kennen out when he went for the inevitable initiation.
And this is the journey we've been on to get the game back to even in gold. Golden Guardians finally collect some turrets. They'll even that up. And now again, back down to how the teams execute. Golden Guardians looking good in these last few skirmishes. It almost feels like Cloud9 are getting frustrated with this long siege. And that's something Froggen's been doing on Anivia for a very long time. But again, it's up to Licorice. It's up to Niski, perhaps, to find either binds coming from their supports or looking for those flanks, because Cloud9 can't really win a team fight any other way.
Yeah, Golden Guardians are split right now, but they're defending. Sven Skaren just gets chunked by Froggen. As soon as Haunter showed in the mid lane, that Kennen, it looked like C9 were gonna go for something, but immediately stuffed by the Anivia. You mentioned, one of the biggest strengths of this champion is defensive siege right there. You try and engage on the Anivia, Froggen is so good at stuffing those.
Again, soldiers go out. Niski trying to wave clear as efficiently as he can. Sven Skaren back to full health, but that control ward still going to spot him out. Licorice also in the front side getting rooted up, and there's a stun onto Niski. Massive amount of damage as the Redemption going to keep Golden Guardians rolling forward. They'll take down the turret.
What year is it, Pastry Time? Are we about to see more Anivia bans enter the LCS?
Maybe.
Because that right there, Froggen's able to corner Niski, chunk out the enemy mid laner once again, and it earns them a tower. Game is still so close, though.
Sven Skaren, not a good spot to be standing in. Tunnels out of the way, under the wall, though.
All right, who's next going to be caught? Here we have a light binding, not quite the same impact, but it's going to chunk contract down to 50% here. Golden Guardians trying to keep the siege up while they've got blue buff on Froggen. Really does give him so much power, to look for all of these plays. It looks like that will be it.
Well, Cloud9, we're ahead. As the game evens back up and Golden Guardians take a slight lead. Curious to see how they navigate the rest of this game. Certainly a team that, despite having a lot of impressive moments, is not always the most aggressive, especially in the early game. So they're capable of winning games from behind, but Golden Guardians are making it really difficult with the way they're approaching sieging down these towers.
And you have to look at the tools that are available on both sides. And when Golden Guardians have such strong siege, and they have this poke damage that's coming through, usually the answer to poke damage is hard engaging on those champions, right? The Varus, the Anivia. But they have to deal with Tom Kench on the other side, keeping them safe, and C9 don't have that great of a hard engage. Barring flashes from Sven Skaren and Licorice, they really are such a squishy team comp without, a really easy point-and-click, straightforward maneuver that the Golden Guardians just continue to group up, and you try and force C9 to make an outplay, to make that happen. You say, okay, how many of those teleports do you have in your bag? Licorice got behind us once, that was a great one, but you guys did not capitalize on it strong enough. So how many more of those are you actually going to get? Sven Skaren's looking for one of them on the bottom side, but gets seen.
Tom Kench also coming down. Missile Voyage into the bot lane. Licorice looking to turn it back around. Great Devour there to save definitely from the pop loss some damage. And that's going to be GA lost there as Licorice down with the GLP. Niski TP down to try and find a way out of there. It's a 3v4 for Cloud9. But Contract's looking for Sven Skaren as Zazel may have roamed in to save the day. Prismatic Barrier out for the shield as Haunter diving in there, gets pushed back by the Emperor's Divide. Niski's still running out of help, but the shield actually going to keep him alive. Now Licorice has to get out of there, but he is forced to burn the flash, and Golden Guardians still chasing with the Sun Turret says no.
How did they all live? C9 survived the bottom side collapse. Abyssal Voyage came in, and there was an attempt at a kill there for Golden Guardians trying to chase them down, but everyone on C9 survives. A lot of flashes used. Sneaky, Niski, Sven Skaren, Licorice, all without flashes now, and without the GA active as well on Sven Skaren, but they do live. They survive to fight another day.
And while it is tough to answer the question of how do C9 find a favorable fight, or at least identify that those windows are a lot narrower than perhaps they'd like, certainly if the carries can find targets, Sneaky and Niski do so much damage. And you already mentioned it, definitely peaked 2 items ago. He's peaked again there with Edge of Night and another Serrated Dirt finish, but Varus is not getting better than this.
Yeah. I don't know if he needs to, though.
That's true.
That much lethality versus all of these squishy champions is definitely working for him. I have to say, Cloud9 without flashes, now it's going to be so hard for them to find that play that we're talking about, where they have to have a flank from Licorice or Svenskeren goes over a wall, because now they don't have the added distance of flash to be able to close. And it is going to be up to Golden Guardians to force the mistake. Now they know that they've burned all those critical flashes and those timers are very long. It is up to the Golden Guardians to make use of this advantage.
Well, Baron is a hot spot for big team fights, and Licorice on the left of your screen is in a very good spot if Golden Guardians recklessly start this Baron. He's actually being very patient here as well. Can you imagine, like, you see a Rek'Sai coming in to steal your Baron and it's actually Licorice killing your whole team for the Pop Blossom?
Yeah, definitely a couple of mind games. Yeah, that's that lethality at work. Very nice shot. Does find Niski. And again, no flashes, no teleports either. So he's going to have to go back to base every time Deathly lands one of those arrows.
And if someone's hiding, usually a good way to make them reveal themselves is to threaten their inhibitors, which is exactly what Golden Guardians are doing now. Don't need to get reckless.
I would also like to point out, by the way, the patience of the jungler here. Svenskeren's been in this spot waiting with Rek'Sai passive for the last minute while Golden Guardians have been poking around, just diligently watching the Baron.
He's dancing!
Svenskeren has joined the Night's Watch, and Baron is his charge, but it's down to 4,000 health, and it's burning down. It's going to die.
Gonna, I guess, just try and steal it at this point. Go in for it, but Contract's able to find the smite. Here's Licorice Show, maybe gonna find the turnaround there. He's gonna get the lock up there. Svenskeren goes down, but the real Svenskeren tries something. He gets exhausted and obliterated.
It was Licorice all along. Minimap is so hard to keep track of the Nikos. In the end, it was a Golden Guardians burn down on the Baron. And since that was in fact Licorice, they don't have the Rek'Sai passive over there, so there you go. That is gonna be Golden Guardians coming through with the Baron buff. This should be their way to end the game.
Golden Guardians lose both Rek'Sais, and they're going to lose this inhibitor turret as well. Mid-inhib, also not long for this world. Respawn's coming up. 12 for Sven and 20 for Licorice. Not nearly enough wave gear to try and defend this inhib, but can Golden Guardians get more? Looks like they're going to back off towards that Cloud Drake, collect their 5th Drake of the game, and reset. In a different order, but trust me, they'll do all this.
The laundry list got a bit jumbled, but it's about the destination, you know?
The enemy nexus.
It's actually not about the path that you take there. All right, they get the recalls off. They get the reset. Baron buff is the perfect tool for the Anivia Varus combination to siege back up. And now they are fairly tanky, right? The Contracts has transitioned after the Warrior Black Cleaver start, since Olaf does not scale super well into the late game. With that offensive peak, you want to just use it for an early game burst and then go tank. Now he is tanky. Spirit Visage picked up. Yeah, Licorice this time around, wearing the cosplay of Svenskeren, is behind the enemy team. C9 looking for the flank. Will this actually be it?
If C9 have a play, they have to go soon, but Niski again, eating that stun, has to zip away from the poke. Licorice being very patient. Oh, now they know what's up.
All right, shows on the minions.
Gonna have to go for it here though. Twin Shadows out, Licorice. Looking for the pop boss, I'm gonna find 2, but Ole is the one of them caught up. But Svenskeren dives into the backline and actually assassinates the Anivia. There's the ulti out from Lux as GA will resurrect Sven. But Froggen back as well with the Ag. Niski trying to push the cannon away, but Contract's unstoppable. Niski dead, and Golden Guardians find 4 kills.
Froggen flashes over his own wall to try and run down Zeyzal. They're heading straight for mid lane here. Ole, Abyssal Voyage inside, and he's gonna cut him off.
No way really for Lux to get back safely. Tongue Lash lands there for Ole, who's just gonna buy time as the rest of the team storm towards the Nexus. Ole, the Portal Combat fights the 1v1, and Golden Guardians will hand Cloud9 their first loss of the summer.
The story of that game had so many twists and turns. Pastry time. Keep you on the edge of your seat the entire game. Golden Guardians, what a comeback.
Cloud9 looked like they were building another solid lead. That Baron fight seemed like they could just close out the game simply from there, but game was anything but as Golden Guardians struck back and find the win. Again, playing a comp that looks very comfortable for them. Froggen, known Anivia player. Ole, very good on the Tahm Kench. I think despite picking comfortable champions, they put together a really intelligent comp. And if you can ever do that with your team, that's exactly where you want to be.
I think that they will go back and review the critical moment too. When C9 got their first Licorice flank and they won that fight and transitioned over to Baron, the 3v5 from the Golden Guardians, Haunter going in after Azir had already used ultimate, Azir uses flash, all of them move forward, and Haunter's able to get the massive Kennen ultimate, wiping C9 at Baron, getting all of those kills, just turns the game around. That much money funneled back into this type of composition, when you have the safety of the Anivia plus the lethality Varus sieging up, then with the extra money, all you have to do is wait around, wait for your skill shots to land, continue to siege up, they push it through. Really nicely done.
Well, certainly so, but for more on that win, Riv is standing by with the Golden Guardians jungler.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Great cast on the day. I'm joined by Contracts after Golden Guardians takes down Cloud9, giving them their first defeat. And I have to say, congratulations to the team. One of the best starts of a split that you guys have seen. What is clicking so well for GGS that is allowing these results?
I don't know. We just have the basics down. We're just all improving, and we're all being like a team. Like last split, we were really disconnected when it comes to like just decisions in game, champion picks, but now we're really coming together, and it's really nice to see.
And it kind of all mounts on itself as some of the parts is coming together as a beautiful whole. You saw Varus there, Tom Kench, Anivia for Froggen in the middle. It seems like all of you can play comfort picks and still play so well together. What has kind of been the focus at making that camaraderie come together so well?
I'm not sure, but I think Froggen and Deathly are really strong at like the poking champs. And they really carried me this game, actually, because I was like 0-2, and then we just play off Anivia and Varus cooldown. So really good job to Froggen and my bot lane for really picking up the slack, because I was really trolling.
And final question to you. I actually got a chance to talk to Team Liquid's Kane today and ask him about what teams they may have their eye on as who could really make an impact this summer. And he said GGS was one of those teams. Why do you think that's so?
He probably should have said CLG because they lost him, right? No, but I think we're just improving a lot this split, so we're definitely on the rise.
Awesome. Contracts, thank you so much. Best of luck in continuing the season with wins, and we're going to throw it to the State Farm analyst desk to break that one down.
Thank you very much, Riv. Golden Guardian says undefeated no more to Cloud9 as they hand them their first loss of the split. Good to hear from Contracts there about the team kind of finding their identity, really learning how to work with each other, something that maybe was lacking from the squad last split, but also giving credence to a couple of his teammates for really carrying at least him personally through this game. At least that's how he feels. I do want to take a look at Champion Select because as per usual, we take a look at Golden Guardians. Comfort will be the name of the game, and above all else, Tom Kench.
They can't keep getting away with this. Every
they will.
single time Ole gets Tom Kench, he's really, really good at this. His all-time record is 17-4 on Tom Kench, and people are just like, oh yeah, it's nerfed. It's okay. We'll play against it. You can't. You clearly can't. The track record says no one can. Just get rid of it.
3-1 this season. The one loss being without Tom Kench. Thinking emoji. You know, like I wonder what we should do in draft.
Exactly.
And I mean, Anivia again for Froggen. This is kind of what we like about Golden Guardians is that they incorporate the meta, but then they also kind of insert themselves into it. So it's like,
Right,
okay,
the
some people are playing Orianna, some people are playing Azir. My control mage is Anivia. I'm the best Anivia ever. I'm gonna play that instead. So I like that a lot.
And Contracts said, we know what our carries are good at. Froggen is good at the poke champs, same with Deathly. So instead of going with the lethal tempo build, they have him go with the full Varus poke, which is great. The Cloud9 composition having Azir and the crazy damage that Varus can do now with that empowered W on his Q means that you get one pick like that, one poke, go straight to Baron, go straight to an objective. The zone control is so good that this kind of style really seems to suit them.
Solid champion select for Golden Guardians, checking all the boxes there for us in terms of what we want to see them do. For Cloud9, they ended up with a composition that they should feel comfortable with. It very much, to me, speaks Cloud9. And the early game went Cloud9, as would be expected from Svenskeren, one of our winningest junglers in the LCS, right alongside Meteos, as we talked about just yesterday.
Number 2 all-time winning player in the LCS, Svenskeren is. So he comes out and has another monstrous early game, influences the topside matchup early on, goes and continues finding picks around the map, and it felt like a lot of the early game was built off his back, and then when you have a Xayah And Azir, that's great, the fact that you got a strong early game.
And he just bodied Contracts here in all these replays. This is a matchup that is supposed to favor the Olaf. You take Olaf into Rexa because you can ult the knockup, but Svenskeren just had none of it. Look at that, 2 levels down against Hunter.
Get over here!
Yes, he is half HP, but still, the fact that he goes for these plays really showed that he had a great control over the game.
Hyper aggressive, right place, right time, really helping his team, you know,
Taking the farm.
catapult to an advantage. Exactly, doing what every good jungler does, and when you're ahead,
Attacks.
you take all of your laners farm, get yourself even more ahead. But to Contract's point, while he wasn't having the best game of his life up against Svenskeren in the jungle, it was his teammates in particular who had to turn things around. And we're going to look specifically at Ole on that Tahm Kench and figure out just why it is he is so impactful in these games.
Look at him 1v2 the enemy bot lane. He gets on top of Sneaky, starts chasing him down. Lux is trying to zone away and stop Tahm Kench, but he's just going to mess
This
it
is
up.
the flash, or this is the flash, right?
Yeah, he gets
oh,
on
I
top
love
of
that.
Super good. And then he starts kiting out, and the rest of no one else is as good as Tahm Kench as Ole is. So Niski's like, oh, well, I'll just clean him up. This will be easily done.
Right.
But he actually gets so many stacks off so quick. He gets the auto Q, auto W, spits him out, and boom, 2 for 0. That was a critical 2 for 0. It didn't like win them the early game, but it stemmed the bleeding that was happening everywhere else on the map to Svenskeren.
Yeah, I kind of missed that play because I had to go run to the bathroom. But when I saw that right now, I'm like, well, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's very obvious.
Right.
Like, seems like you got to get that guy off that champ.
Mastery of that champion is being showcased here on the stage. Of course, it did not end there, as you mentioned. That was only what stemmed the bleeding. They had a lot of work to do to get back into the game and ultimately take it. So let's take a look at a couple of their team fights here, because Golden Guardians, they surprised in a couple areas. There might be a small mistake here from Niski. Mark, take it away.
Yeah, so this was after Golden Guardians lost the fight, but Niski, instead of prioritizing his ultimate to knock Kennen out and secure the Baron, he wants to scoop in deftly, but who still has flash. They're not tracking cooldowns properly. This gives Kennen a actual path right into the middle between Niski and the rest of the team. So Niski's going to have to walk over the Kennen to get back. Honster does a great job recognizing this is his window, and he's going to go in right after this and start this fight off again.
And you know, another great move that Niski could have thought of here is that because Olaf does not have vision of the pit, you can use the ultimate to knock him away or force that ultimate before the time would actually...
Both the Olaf and the Kennen, right? Like,
Yeah,
he
it's
could have
gonna
just
get
waited for
a
Kennen
lot
to
of
commit
moves
to the
that you
fight.
can do.
He chose the more great. Look, this is part of why we love Cloud9 as a team. They're the 60-40 team that we've talked about, who's willing to go for it and take those risks. More often than not, it does work out for Cloud9. This is an example of a time when going for the big play actually resulted in the fight swinging in completely the other direction.
Yeah, that's exactly where the gold lead goes for the first time substantially in Golden Guardians' favor. And from there, Golden Guardians did a fantastic job running away with it. They did play them close, you know, from that 18 to 25-minute mark as well. You see C9 really not able to make that many plays during that window. A lot of that was Froggen hiding in brushes and finding chunk outs, not quite kills, but stemming the bleeding once again using his trademark Anivia.
All right, so both of these teams are now sitting at 3-1, and I know at the top of the day we talked a little bit about which teams have changed or stayed the same, or at least the sense that we're getting. And when we talked about Golden Guardians, there wasn't like a prevailing, oh, they're this wildly different team, and I agree. There's not a whole lot that on a surface level I can say, ooh, that is a difference, other than the results,
better, yeah.
the record, right? And that, if anything, is the change. And whether that just means, as Contract said, they have just gotten better at what they know they are good at, it is showing here in the results early on in the split.
I love the Varus from Deftly here. I think that it's been a pick that people put as a first pick before MSI, during MSI, and now we're just starting to remember that this champion is still super viable because of the flexibility in the build as well. It lets you go all the on-hit, meltdown, anything, or the poke as well. I think it's a great fit, and it's something that teams need to start prioritizing. It's very good in lane as well. And this is a team that recognizes strengthening champions and really just locks it down. They run away with it. They just will lock in Tahm Kench every single time. And if they can get TK or Varus every time with their Anivia, I think they'll go for it consistently until somebody says, it's time to ban these guys.
I mean, you say strength of champions, but I think also strength of players. It's not many players out there who just admit what they're good at. A lot of them like to believe, I can play everything. Right. I'm a top-tier LCS player. It's like you still have strengths and weaknesses. And I love when players are like, we're good at poke champs. He's good at Tahm Kench. I don't care that this is not really the meta. This is what we're going to do because it's what we're best at.
Right, yeah, without a doubt. It is working for them so far. Again, moving to 3-1, doing the same for Cloud9. Only one undefeated team rather remaining in the league, and they have yet to play today. That will be Optic in our 5th game. For Cloud9, though, I think losses are something that you expect out of a Cloud9 roster throughout the course of a split. I don't think that Cloud9 as an org is ever one that feels like the 18-0, right? They feel like they'll be dominant and a top-tier competing team. But wow, dropping a game or two because of either the risks they take or maybe pushing games a little bit too hard.
Even last split, when we looked at Cloud9, they were making plays. Remember when Sven Skaren died level 2 to mid tower on the gank? They're just testing limits, right? Like, it's about making sure that they are trying to play the same way they do scrims on stage and trying to translate that every single time. And that's going to result in you making a lot of mistakes on stage, and you're going to drop some games, but you're going to improve, and that's what matters, because you need to take risks to improve.
Well, Cloud9 not necessarily worse for the wear, but for Golden Guardians, a 3-1 record at the end of week 2 feels damn good. If you've dreamt of having a multi-screen league experience, though, a la the Architect from The Matrix, check out ProView today, where you can get up to 4 players on one screen, so you can pinpoint every success and failure down to the most minuscule mouse movement. Get yourself set up and meet us back here for FlyQuest versus Optic after the break.
Now Niski moving back in, looks for Ole. Finally procs to Ian, now gonna turn it back around. The barrel back up. Ole spits him out and definitely shoots him down.
Oh, looks like they're still chasing too.
Oh, nice snipe from Zazel. Sven Skaren going back in, slashing Maelstrom already procs. Sven Skaren ready with the assault once again. Hops on and gonna take him down. Don't worry about the 2-level disadvantage.
Jeg ser.
Ja.
Nice, Kevin.
Help me. Ja. Sejr. Kenning sejr.
Oh.
Kill sejr.
Ja.
We win this. Kill right side first.
Left side don't flash.
Ui, no.
Yo, go mid.
I can TP mid.
Okay, someone take my word.
Let's go, Hunt.
Nice job. Good shit.
There are multiples on the table. One is cash, 3 are FHA, 1 is VA. So what can you do?
She's saying a whole lot of people want to buy this house. But you got this. It can be as simple as push button get mortgage. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans, America's largest mortgage lender.